Hey, I wanted to walk you through one of our most successful mid-funnel posts at Friday, and it was a post on daily planner apps. And so you can see I was trying to use that formula a little bit earlier with 3 different words and a description, a noun as the feature. Actually, planner could also be a description in this case, and then we have this apps as like the noun or software feature. And so this is done really well for us, and you can see, at least on my screen, and I think, according to Ahrefs, we're in the top 1 or 2 positions. Daily planner apps beating Lifehack, The Balance, Apple ClickUp has now I compete against them obviously on some things. They have a post, Hypebae, FreshBooks. So we have some very credible competitors here, and we've been able to maintain our number 1 position for a little bit. So, but what I really wanted to look at is just how I structured this piece. Hopefully it'll be helpful to you, and I think it's a really good example of just how the mid-funnel has worked for us. And so this is our general setup. I'm not going to get into if this is really helpful or not. I don't have a lot of metrics on that right now, but I just want to show you what we're doing. And so right off the bat is I've have a pretty short title here. It has some of the keywords. I know Google is bouncing back and forth between showing the meta title versus the title. And so in this case, my meta title looks very similar to this. We have some free options. We have some paid options. So I put free and paid, which seems to work pretty well. I have the year. And I also don't have the exhaustive list. I personally have never really enjoyed those. I found them a little overwhelming. Usually most of my list are between 11 to maybe 17. I'm not really saying that's the way you have to go. I think I have a couple that are longer than that. You might just want to look at the SERPs and see what it's telling you, but I just don't really see those exhaustive 50 plus kind of data points, at least for software, taking the top positions. But of course I could just depend on the SERP and what industries that you're looking at too. And then I've talked to you a lot about questions, and I'm finding those are being really successful for Google picking them up in the people also ask type things. And so in this case, that is what I'm using here. I have Friday as number 1. I mix it around a little bit. Normally, whatever we put in the top position usually does get the most clicks, even if it's not yours or not. So if you have another product or another feature that you don't want to emphasize as much, but you want the traffic, you want some of those more discerning buyers, you may want to move your product down a couple levels or a couple rankings to maybe filter out some of that. But if I hover over this, you can see I go straight to the Software Daily Planner page. I'm going to click that. Close out some tabs, sorry. But as it loads, you can see this is my bottom funnel page. It's also our feature page. It's ranked pretty well for some of the keywords I've aimed for, so I've just kept it from our root domain. But you can see it's just kind of a straightforward bottom funnel page. There could be some improvements here for sure from a conversion rate optimization perspective, but it's done pretty well for us. So I go to that page. I link to it to the domain here, and then I have a video, which I think has been helpful. I have the description. I have a product image. And then I kind of call out the best features. This is not necessarily a pros and cons. It can just be what really works well, what type of people here. So then you don't really get into the thing if some competitors or some of these other products come back at you about cons, because you're just listing some of the best features and showing what you have versus what they don't have. Pricing info is a little bit bigger. I link it out, and then I have another call to action here. This goes straight to my sign up page. And so I put that at the end because I want some link juice to my bottom funnel page. I want people to get some information and reading there. And so it's going to load here in a minute. I'm already logged in, so it's not going to load our regular screen. And here we are for create your free account. But I think I mentioned this maybe in the bottom funnel section. There's not a lot of context here. So if this is my only link and some of the information, people just may be oh wait, jumping right into it. So that's why I link to this bottom funnel page, and it helps the bottom funnel page potentially rank as well. That's just the way I do it. I think it works. You can obviously experiment on your own. And then I have some of the other tools here. One thing I have, I have this format, which has worked really well for me. Like, what can I get in that version? Like, what versions do they have? Description. I have a Todoist alternative, so I put a note here, best features, pricing, and then we happen to have a Todoist integration, so I link to that too. If you don't, I wouldn't worry about that. One thing I started doing, I think I can't remember, is I started adding these like reviews from like Capterra and G2 and other things. This helps people understand like what is some of the social proof, and then I try to link out to it. I haven't updated these in a while. I think these are still live and they work, but I find that helpful for another form of social proof. And then you can see I just kind of run the same thing. Obviously, I don't give as much information about these other tools. I don't know them, but that's why I link out to these like software advice and other things. And in all honesty, I would rather link out to say like software advice than I would directly to some of these tools. And here, like Google Calendar doesn't need my traffic, obviously. So I'm going to link them out to software advice. I'm going to link them out to this other page we have on Google Calendar and try to like keep things in-house a bit as much as possible. I don't want to do that all the way. I added, a couple videos in here about Friday just to keep as a reminder. But you can see it's like just pretty straightforward all the way through for these different tools. So I'm going to scroll to the end. And then I kind of have a short, like kind of buyer's guide type thing, so to speak. Just some quick bullet points for people to think about. I think this works. I don't really have I haven't run a lot of tests about if this is effective or not, but it's kind of how I decided to do it. Then to help and to kind of maybe get some of that like what is type information, more evergreen stuff towards the bottom is I've started creating these FAQs. So definitely use your FAQ schema. Like why use a planner? And then I can actually link out to a few more other posts that are helpful. How do I choose a planner? You should choose a planner that can help you get through your day. How can I make my own digital planner? So I have another post about digital planners. So I have some links there. But I think those are helpful and kind of keeps that information down a bit. So I'll scroll back up to the top and we have our, if people are quickly interested, they can go to any of these quick links here on the side. But really that's the general overview. So I hope you found that helpful. Thanks.